let me go back to you, a widely known liar. This from the latest on you came out yesterday. Sports pariah and white America's favorite lapdog, Jason Whitlock, is unfortunately a black man. As such, Whitlock... That's an amazing sentence.
Yeah.
Whitlock has found a niche in life in which his whole modus operandi is to denounce, bash, and destroy the movement for black lives. Whitlock hates black people. He hates progressive black people even more. He really hates black female athletes who don't just stick to sports. And he really, really hates black people who protest after an unarmed black person has been shot by the police. You're not going to even respond, are you?
Well,
You're just not going to.
I read the deal yesterday, I believe. It's in the Root. It's one of the most dishonest, vile things that you could say, and I would be embarrassed if I worked at the Root if someone published something like that so far removed from the truth, and just the only intent is to try to harm and damage, disparage, slander, smear my reputation. What's comical about this is I've actually, not even comical, but it's just sad. I've actually had the experience of a close family member that I helped raise, a cousin that as a child came to Kansas City with some other cousins of mine to visit me, blah, blah, blah. I stood in the gap because he had no relationship with his dad. In 2012, he was killed by police, two sheriff's officers in Indianapolis. My family has been through the stereotypical Black Lives Matter experience. The issue isn't a joke to me, and that's why I'm in disagreement with Black Lives Matter, because they've turned it into a hustle for money rather than seeking any type of solutions. Police brutality has actually, just across the board, has actually decreased in America over the last 30 or 40 years. Policing has actually gotten better. If we have an issue with police brutality, and I will agree that we do, it's not a racial problem. Trust me, if you do the research, and because of what happened to my family member in 2012, I've been all the way down the police brutality rabbit hole, and you can find incredible incidences that involve white police officers assassinating white people. And I say that without a bit of exaggeration. I believe the young man's name is Robert
Well, you've
Shaver.
already blown your credibility with the wire thing. So now you're expecting me to believe this isn't an overreach.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And so I'm just, if we address police brutality en masse as like, oh, hey, we got a problem with policing and maybe they're using guns too often and they're blah, blah, blah. It's not a racial issue. It's some people get drunk on their power as police officers.
Yeah.
And do inappropriate things. And, it cuts across racial lines. All the studies, all the data show it. And this promotion of fear that people, oh my God, you should be afraid of the police, blah, blah, blah. Not if you cooperate and comply with them. There's virtually no chance. And again, I look at the stories that are being written about what just happened to Daunte Wright, and everyone's saying, oh, he was killed after a traffic stop. No. And again, I'm not exonerating the police officer. What she did was negligent and incompetent.
Which part? Firing her gun into a car moving away?
Thinking she had a taser in her hand when she had a handgun.
Okay.
I think when you fire a weapon, you need to take a look at it and not just draw it.
Well, they also feel a little different.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I would take a look at it before firing.
Yeah.
To make sure, particularly if I was carrying two different things. And so, but I don't think there's any racial intent here by this woman. I'm sorry. It's terrible what's happened. I don't think what she did is criminal. I think it should cost her job, and she has resigned from her job. But my number one point is, if the media were being accurate, they would say Daunte Wright shot and killed after resisting arrest, because the traffic stop had nothing to do with him being shot and killed. His resistance did.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a resistance to arrest because of the traffic stop. This guy tried to choke a woman twice for $800. She was helpful to him. She was nice to him, and he pulled a gun on her in the end and said, "Give me all your money." She said, "Are you kidding me? After all of this, you're kidding me, right?" He said, "I'm not." He tried to choke her. He tried to choke her twice. It went to court. He was let out on a $100,000 bail. He skipped out on bail. He was told that he had to, check in. He had to stay away from drugs and guns and everything else. Well, when they stopped him, he knew he was going to jail, and it wasn't about a traffic stop. He was going to jail because he not only had to face trying to choke this woman, but also skipping out on bail and doing all of the things that he was told he had to, or not doing all the things he was told he had to do to be in compliance. What does this have to do with... This guy was just trying not to go to jail. He's not a good guy.
There are media reports, Glenn, and this is just what drives me crazy, because I honestly believe the truth will set you free. The truth is the antidote for a lot of the chaos. But there are stories out there that, he was pulled over for an air freshener, and he was shot over a traffic violation. Again, he was pulled over for expired plates. I've been pulled over for that. He was pulled over and he was shot because he resisted arrest. Again, I would have preferred for the female police officer to shot him with a taser like she was attempting to do. But again, if you don't resist, if you don't want to be harmed by the police, don't resist. Things I've been pulled over. When I used to drive, I don't drive much anymore, but I've driven a Mercedes for 20 some odd years, and those things go really fast because they hook. And so I was a bad speeder, and so I got pulled over a lot, and I just killed the policeman with kindness, and you would be amazed how many tickets I've avoided and how much respect they've given me back because of the respect I give them. I've even, as a kid, when I was I think a junior or a senior in college, I'm home in Indianapolis visiting my stepmother and stepsister and stepbrother who live in the hood. And so at night, I got pulled over for an expired license plate. And I had a suspended driver's license for an unpaid traffic ticket. And in Indianapolis at that time, this is 1989, 1990, sometime around there, that was an automatic arrest. They
shot and killed you, didn't they? They did. They shot and killed you.
Big old police cop said, "Hey, get out of the car." I got out of the car. Put your hands behind your back. I put my hands behind my back. He put me into the back of his car, and he drove me to jail. And I was, at this time, I wasn't as pudgy as I am now. I was still fresh off the college football field. And so I was kind of swelled up. And, I looked the part of somebody, and this is in the middle of the night, 10 p.m. at night. I looked the part of somebody that could be a threat to the police or whatever. But anyway, and so I'm in the back of the car like, "Oh, man, I'm going to jail. Oh, man, I'm going to." And the cop said, "Hey, man, they're going to be so scared of you, and you'll be out of here in 10, 12 hours. Shut up." And I shut up and went to jail.